Etymology of a pegged CPU. There's a slightly obscure, slang meaning in tech circles of the word pegged as it relates to a computer's CPU. When it is fully utilized for a duration, at least several seconds, you can say that the CPU is pegged. Does anyone know the history or etymology of this usage of pegged?
Many analog gauges such as speedometers have a maximum marking which is technically not as high as you might be able to make the reading actually go. To prevent the indicator needle from going too far beyond that marking and possibly getting bent or otherwise damaged when it hits the casing, a small peg is placed at or slightly beyond the maximum marking. Thus, when you achieve the highest speed the gauge will show, you have pegged the needle. Hitting the peg is not damaging in the way that hitting the casing would be because the peg is placed much closer to the base of the needle than the tip, so there is less torque being exerted, and the torque is usually on a thicker part of the needle. Here is an image of a gauge, with the peg circled in green. On this one you don't have to worry about needle damage, since the gauge is circular, but you wouldn't want to have it measuring a pressure of about 100 pounds per square inch and only showing a reading of about 20 pounds per square inch because it had wrapped around. Unfortunately, the only other reference I can find on short notice is Urban Dictionary, Sense 6.
I have seen an actual pegged meter in the E-Lab at the University of Wisconsin. When the meter is hit with a sudden extreme overvoltage, the needle hits the peg hard enough that the needle wraps around the peg. Why is there a peg on the face of the meter? Probably because the meter isn't accurate above the peg point.
There are a few reasons for a peg to be placed on the face of an analog meter. 1. The device was designed to measure a certain range accurately. A peg prevents rotation beyond the limit. 2. Some of these devices have a limit to how far the pointer can rotate before it would jam or damage the device. 3. Many analog meters have a spring connected to the pointer under the face. Often this spring is designed to bring the pointer back to zero, and a peg may be placed there as well. Stretching the spring would render the device inaccurate. B. In some meters, the springs are calibrated for the device, with precise resistance. To prevent over-tightening, winding, or loosening, unwinding, of the spring, a peg is placed under the face to stop the pointer from breaking or stretching the spring, which would either break the meter, or make it inaccurate. The point is, if something is pegged, it is maxed out, full throttle, needle to the pin, pedal to the metal, or pegged out.
If you want to support the channel, please consider subscribing.